Welcome back to Kryptolytix, giving a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today, I'm going to go over my new segment, the Crypto Recap. And in this segment, I'm going to do relatively frequently, going to cover things like price, have a look at some airdrop opportunities, and check out some other things that I think are interesting within the crypto space as a whole. So let's get into this one, shall we? Okay, so this is a new segment, as I mentioned, called the Crypto Recap. And in this, I'm just going to go over, as a structure, the price of Bitcoin at the time, and a few things that I'm looking at in brief, and then we're going to go over a few things that I've been seeing within the crypto space in general. So that could be airdrops, could be some trading opportunities, whatever I think could be alpha or useful. So yeah, hope you like it. If you do, then please give the video a like. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and you can subscribe to the channel if you think it's good and you're not subscribed, and then hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when more videos come out from me. So let's get into it, I guess. So to start off, let's check the price of Bitcoin. It's been going crazy. It's so bullish at the moment. I did see some bearish sentiment coming out, but I think these people are just going to get wrecked. So, again, there's still a good chance that we might get a correction at some point, but the buying pressure's just been really, really strong. And we've made it to the next band in the NeonEVM bands. Mentioned these in the last video. If you want, there's a link just up above here, and you can watch that video if you like. It's really long, so if you're patient and you can get through it all, it explains what these bands are, how they've worked in the past, how they called the bottom, and will they call the top? Who knows, right? I guess we have to figure that one out, or just wait for it to play out for the most part. But remember, if we get above these bands, it's full bull. We are going to go ballistic, and that's just the long and short of it, essentially. Now, I've got the log regression on here as well, so the faint gray line here is the log regression, and these bands here is the SMMAV bands. Now, in terms of the log regression, we have broken finally, haven't closed the week yet, but we've finally broken out of this channel that we've been in ever since the end of the bear market. So this channel, we've just been stuck in, going up and down, essentially bouncing around, back and forth. These are Fibonacci baselines. Again, I explained it in that video, so I won't explain it again, but these are all Fibonacci baselines baked into a log regression channel. So with regards to the log regression channel, until we get to the median line, to the next line, which we can see acted as support perfectly there, and when it broke down below it, it fell really hard. That was also the lunar collapse though, so that was the main reason why that happened, let's be honest. But also we could see it acted as resistance here, and then acted as support, and then we shot off. So that's the next line up. So, and then here we go, look at that, acted as support perfectly. The MSMMAV bands worked as a resistance here. So we just look at these two things in tandem, and we see that, well, we're definitely at these resistances, but they're just getting smashed on a daily basis. So it's pretty insane. It's one of the last few days have been, these days where you look at your portfolio and you're just like, wow, this is why we're in crypto, huh? So that's it for price action at the moment. I mean, in the last cycle in 2019, we hit the top band before we came back down, but will that happen? Who knows? It could be like the cycle prior. Again, as I explained in the previous video, in the cycle prior, we basically went to the top line, did a 20%, would be the equivalent of a 20% correction to come back to the bottom line, act as support, and that could be support here on this regression line as well. And then we just basically maybe skirt around inside for a little bit, and then after the halving, just go, who knows, that could happen, right? So yeah, anyway, let's get into the updates that I think you might be interested in. Now, with regards to this sector, I'm going to look over my Twitter, anything that I've posted. So you can see all this stuff on x.com, or I guess as it's called now, I suppose. But I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about these posts since you have word limits, etc. And I'm going to go back a little bit further, but in the future, I'll only be covering the last few days, I suppose, of whatever I've posted in these videos. So that way you have the most up-to-date information as I'm seeing it. Now, just a little bit of a preface on this. I spend about 12 hours a day doing crypto research, and I always hope that I can consolidate all of that research into something small that I can deliver. And I think doing this is probably a good way to do it. So that's why I'm just going to go over my X so that I can just basically cover all the things that I'm seeing in the crypto space, and we can go from there. So I got a comment on my Mantle airdrop video, and that was with regards to the Mantle Journey airdrop program that was running. And I got about 15-17 miles from what I did, and I did a lot of sort of on-chain trading using some stuff like Butter, for example, and generated about 10,000 USD worth of trading volume and just activity throughout the network, throughout the program, and I managed to get 90 MNT, which is about $50 airdrop. That's completely fine. I don't mind. It's free money at the end of the day. But that's basically what I was able to get from that video, which, is probably a lot lower than what people were hoping for, but it's free money at the end of the day, right? I feel like there's a bit of a strange thing going on in the crypto Twitter sphere, and that's that people are expecting these massive airdrops, and when it comes through as a small amount of money, $50, $100, $200, for example, they get disappointed. And I'm just a little bit confused by that, because it's free money at the end of the day. So it's just this very strange thing that I'm sort of witnessing. But I'm happy with anything personally. I don't mind, so I'm happy with this. I currently am trading Mantle. I use a strategy that uses the Heikin-Ashi super trend for it. So I'm also generating more volume through Butter, which earns points. So remember, they've got a points program, which is still running. And also you get these phishing attempts, which earns you more MNT tokens. So I think at the moment I'm at about 15 MNT tokens that I've got just from using Butter. So I'm swapping back and forth, and I'll show you the strategy I'm using quickly. Also, I don't know if anyone saw this, but we had this huge wick to the upside on Mantle. It was actually crazy, 16% this move here. So what you're seeing on the chart here is my Mantle short-term sort of swing trading strategy. And what I'm using is the Kryptolytix super trend strategy. Well, you could use any super trend for this, essentially. But with mine, I've got it set up so I can actually look at the back testing for just if I long only, because I'm using this for spot. And spot is just a buy and sell strategy. And the back test is inaccurate, so there's probably no point in showing you that, because it's back testing Heikin-Ashi candles, which they don't represent actual current price data. And I've tried to use ChatGPT and Gemini, which is the new Bard, to help me code to use Heikin-Ashi signals on a normal candlestick chart, but I really don't think it's possible. But anyway, the settings I'm using are the defaults, which is 10 and 3 on the 1 hour chart. And essentially that's what I'm using to buy and sell. So in this case, I sold here and then had to rebuy back around here because I was asleep at 5 a.m. in the morning when the signal went off, but I just buy back whenever I can. But if we have a look back here, I was able to generate an additional almost 10% of MNT by selling it at this point here, for example. And I bought back, and then the sell, that was about, I bought back and then made about 10% more and lost about 6%. And then I'm sure this one's going to be a break even again or something to that effect, but we'll have to see. But that's what I'm using, and it's kind of nice. It's allowing me to accumulate more MNT tokens. I started using this strategy back here. So again, it just stops you from just holding constantly. But the better part about it is it allows you to just slowly accumulate more MNT. And if you use Butter, remember, you're getting points and you get these phishing attempts, so you get more MNT that way. So that's what I've been doing with my Mantle airdrop. I'm buying and selling it. Currently, I'm holding my MNT. I don't have a lot, 502. It's really not a lot. Make sure when you're selling MNT that you leave at least maybe 1 to 3 in your wallet, because if your wallet goes under 1, then you get RPC errors when you try and swap in the future. So don't sell it all. Make sure you keep at least 1. I would say probably keep at least 3. It's only worth a few cents anyway. So I'm hoping with that buy and sell strategy, I generate points for Butter, maybe get more MNT through that little phishing game that I showed in that airdrop video. And hey, hopefully accumulate more MNT at the end of the day. So we'll have to see how that pans out really, but so that I'd cover that. People are already speculating on the potential airdrops that will come on the Solana Saga mobile. So I personally pre-ordered mine. I think at the moment they're at about 100,000 pre-orders, which is insane. This person speculates that maybe we'll be getting additional JUP, Drift, and the Tensor token and more. My comment on this is that I feel like it's probably the only phone that could be considered an actual investment. And I just wanted to remind you that if you wanted some of the bonus NFTs that could come with the phone, you have to use a backpack wallet. So that was something that I noticed when I was looking through the posts when I was making the pre-order, is that if you use a backpack wallet, then that's where you'll qualify for the additional NFTs. So I've set up a backpack wallet just for this. So I'll be able to actually also see exactly what I'll get from it, because it won't be mixed with all my other wallets as well. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm sure a lot more projects will probably end up airdropping to Saga holders. And if you've pre-ordered, then you'll have the token most likely in your wallet to represent that you have placed a pre-order. Bit of an update on the JUP token. the way I kind of see the JUP token is it's kind of comparable to FTT or FTX. I'm not comparing Jupiter to FTX in that, you know, it's a dodgy app or anything like that. In that FTX was becoming like a super app almost, like you could borrow, had all these really cool features and stuff like that. So that's kind of the only reason why I kind of make a comparison. And I feel like that having a one-stop shop for DeFi and token swaps and bridging and all that sort of stuff on Solana has a lot of potential. And when comparing the JUP token to some other potential tokens, you could compare to 1inch, for example, or Uniswap or something like that. But I think Jupiter's building out to be something much more because it has perpetuals, has a bridge, has a launchpad, has all of these features that are cooking and even available right now. So it's becoming a lot more than just simply a DEX aggregator. So I think you can probably compare it to something more like an FTT or something like that. And let's have a look at what the market cap got to for the FTT token in the bull market. Well, it got to 12.53 billion. So if anyone is saying that the FDV for Jupiter is unreasonable, then, you know, in the peak of the bull market, we could certainly see these sorts of valuations. And you might be wondering what price would be if it did hit that. I was going to use market cap off, but they've removed the FTT token. So I use ChatGPT for this. So it would be about $1.20 at the current circulating supply, or $2 at the fully diluted market cap. So nowhere near as high as what a lot of the Moon Boys on X are saying, but still pretty good. Bit of an older post, but the price is pretty much the same. Jupiter's hitting under the 50-cent mark at the moment. And in my opinion, this is a good price to accumulate if you're accumulating for the bull market. It's a bit of a down-only affair, but the reason why I feel like this is happening is because people who got the airdrop, it's a lot easier to sell than something like Dymension, which, you know, just went up only because I think people didn't really know how to sell it. And also there's airdrop speculation, where currently still there's not a lot of use case that's been announced for the JUP token. So I think people are kind of using it as like a bit of a piggy bank for aping into other altcoins on the Solana network. But I still feel like it's worth accumulating Jupiter. It's not financial advice, but that's just what I believe. Further to what I was saying before about Jupiter and its price, I feel like these are the most common tokens to compare it to in terms of price. So imagine if Jupiter got to the same market cap at the peak of the bull market in 2021 of Uniswap. It's $16.37. It was a $22 billion market cap. That's pretty extreme. And if it got to the top of 1inch, it would be $1.35. So there's some food for thought there as well. There was a lot of controversy swirling around the airdrops, and so I decided to make a comparison between the Jupiter and the Dymension airdrop and why I think the price did what it did. So with regards to the Dymension airdrop, the total eligible wallets was around 1 million based on various metrics across Ethereum L2, Solana protocols, Cosmos ecosystem, NFTs, and other criteria. So the claimed wallets was about 528,000, which was about 53% of the eligible wallets. Date was January 2024. The Jupiter airdrop eligible wallets was nearly 1 million, so about the same. Number of claimed wallets was 336,000. I think that's gone up a little bit more, but that was about 34% at the time I wrote this. The launch price of Dymension was $4.70, and it went to $7.70 at the time I posted this. It's gone down a little bit since then. Market cap at launch was 716 million, so under, and then it went up to 1.09 billion, as opposed to 34% claim wallets for Jupiter. 70 cents was the launch price, roughly, and the current price was about 51 cents. At launch was about 960 million, and then went down to 689 million. So the increase from launch price, I think, is one of the other reasons why people just started kind of aping into it. The staking incentives, I think, is a really big part of it for the Dymension token. So users can stake their DYM for potential rewards, so airdrops, creating buying pressure. Future airdrop narrative, speculation about future airdrops for DYM stakers could attract buyers. And I think the modular blockchain network narrative is quite strong, and that's what Dymension sits on. With the rollups, Invest Answers recently did a video and said that the tokenomics are terrible for the DYM token, but I feel like a lot of the airdrop narrative will just kind of overcome that. We'll definitely start seeing some sort of sell-off, I'm guessing, at some point, but I think that a lot of people are staking their Dymension because they want to be qualified for airdrops for the rollups that are coming out. So the thing about Jupiter, comparatively, is that the price decline, I guess, has encouraged people to sell. As I said, that's become a bit of a degen's piggy bank where they're swapping their JUP token for other things that they think that have more potential. Currently, the functionality on the JUP token is quite limited. So it's primarily a governance token with no revenue sharing or staking rewards. That is something that could very well change, but that's just at the moment. No future airdrop narrative. There's no confirmed future airdrops for JUP holders, so it's reducing the short-term incentive. But again, that's something that could change, because the whole thing about the Solana ecosystem is it's kind of become a bit of an airdrop hub. So it's one of these things where maybe a snapshot could be taken by another project and reward people who decide to hold on to their Jupiter tokens rather than just jeet them, as they say. And in more Jupiter news, Jupiter Exchange has announced a second working group for the Jupiter DAO. It will be headed by Kashtana from Super Team DAO. So if you are following JUP, then it's probably worth giving him a follow over on X. He will lead weekly Jupiter community calls to communicate Jupiter's product, community spotlight, and community discussions with LFG candidates. So there you go. If you want to be up to date with what Jupiter's going to be doing, then he's definitely someone worth a follow. Really cool bridge that I found when doing research on one of my most recent videos is the tfm.com bridge, and that is a bridge for the Cosmos ecosystem that allows you to bridge and swap tokens at the same time. I don't know if it pulls liquidity from all the best places though, because I found a few swaps gave huge slippage and price divergences. So I think it's not perfect yet, but it's still really cool that you can say swap your Dymension from Osmosis to Dymension all on chain without having to go through a number of other swaps and bridges first. So it's something that I'm going to keep my eye on, but kind of reminds me of the Terra bridge with the animation there. So yeah, anyway, that's something that is worth checking out. Maybe it doesn't work for Dymension, or it's not very good for Dymension, but maybe there's some other IBC tokens that you want to swap around and you don't want to bridge, then swap. You can just kind of do it all within here, which is really cool. Next, I wanted to bring attention to the Prism airdrop. So Prism, if you ever used Luna back in the day, was one of the DeFi protocols over in the Terra Luna ecosystem. And they had a lot of these C assets. So they had like C Luna and all that sort of thing, but they've branched off and have created their own blockchain in the Cosmos ecosystem. So at the moment, they're offering airdrops to stakers. So if you've got Injective, Dymension, or Celestia that you're currently staking for airdrops, then you could delegate to their validator. And you can do that you can redelegate straight from within the Kepler wallet. For example, if you've got some Dymension staked currently, you can redelegate like this and just type in DRYZM, for example, and you can just do it like this, and it will just automatically restake to the Prism validator. With regards to the Prism airdrop, what you can also do if you want to qualify is you can use their testnet. I reposted a guide by Alex Mason on my X, so you can go check that out if you want. And that's just how to use the Prism testnet. There's quite a few things involved with regards to it, so it's something that you probably just want to read through and check out and just follow it kind of verbatim, because there's a few things in there that are a little bit confusing, so you might as well just follow it as per this thread. And that means that you won't have any issues there. You just follow it. And also stake TR, Dymension, and Injective with their validator, and that's not actually in this thread, but that's my recommendation to add to your qualification for the Prism airdrop. You can also stake Atom and Osmo and Luna if you still have that. Participate in the testnet and the mainnet, and there's also Azili quests that you can go through. And remember, 20% of the supply will be airdropped to delegators of Prism validators. So that's quite a large chunk to validators. So definitely worth doing that if that's something that you're going to farm for. Another Rollups chain, so similar to Dymension, is Nibiru chain. So this one here, I'm just farming points on that one for an airdrop, and I don't know how it will do or if it's any good, but I just figured I don't see why not. So according to Gemini, they were able to close a $8.5 million seed funding round valued at $100 million, led by Tribe Capital, Republic Capital, NGC Ventures, and Original Capital. I haven't actually heard of any of those. And they also secured an additional $12 million in funding to fuel its growth and further development. So they're touting a potential 40K transaction per second speed, 1.4 second block times, and kind of all of the basic stuff that you sort of see with most blockchains these days, as in RWAs, DeFi, gaming, and all that sort of stuff. I guess the reason why the funding is something worth noting is that it means that that's a higher potential for an airdrop, right? At the moment, all you can really do is use their testnet and stake. So you can use the faucet and stake the token on the testnet. And they've just got a whole bunch of things where you can link your Kepler wallet with your X, and you can go through and perform some of these social media tasks. That's pretty much all they've got at the moment, essentially. If you come over to app.nearaboo.buy, you can come into the faucet and mint some tokens. I've got 5 at the moment. I'm just going to request some more. Why not? You can perform swaps, though I don't believe you can actually yet, so that's coming soon. All that you can really do is stake. So you just find a validator and you stake, I don't know, like 2, we'll say. And they have a NUSD, I think, that they're working on, some sort of stable coin. And perps trading, at the moment they've got ETH and Bitcoin, and you can't really mint the NUSD on the testnet, so you can't really do anything with that, to be honest. But you know, they've got swaps, staking, and perps at the moment, essentially. So yeah, anyway, that's something I'll be watching and definitely participating in. Another Cosmos airdrop worth mentioning is Motus. So it's Saw Chain, it's a layer 1 network based on the Cosmos SDK. Another one will be most likely eligible for Atom stakers, TS stakers, Akash stakers, and will have Zilli requests. So that's, you know, follow on socials, join Discord, all that sort of stuff, and the dates to be announced for the airdrop. So we don't really have all the details on this one just yet, but something worth mentioning. For Cosmos airdrops, the Cosmos airdrops X page has recommended, if you want to qualify for some of the upcoming airdrops, a nice round amount to potentially stake would be 25 Atom, 100 Osmo, 10 TR, 10 Injective, and 50 TYM. But for Celestia, it might be better off. You might be better off staking something more like 30 or 35 for this, because there have been airdrops that 10 wouldn't have been enough for. So just something to keep in mind. The snapshot has been taken for another Cosmos ecosystem airdrop. So this one is NOIS, and the airdrop is for INJ stakers. Now the snapshot's been taken, and to check, you can just go to their GitHub and search for your injective address. So I've just put a link on my X, so you can check that out, and the link in the description below. And I was eligible for this many tokens. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. Could be good, maybe it won't be, I don't know, but we'll have to see. First, let me show you how you can find it. So just go to your Kepler wallet, basically. Come down and find injective in your list. Hopefully you've got some in there. Copy the address, click the link on the post, Control F or Command F, I'm guessing it's the same if you've got a Mac, and then paste. And you'll be able to see how many tokens you're eligible for here. It seems like this is a pretty standard amount. So there you go. That's how you check if you've been staking your injective, like I've said in many posts recently, to stake your injective. And if you want to know more about what NOIS is, then here's a bit of an elevator pitch. Well, it's a bit long for an elevator pitch, but anyway. So you can pause and read this if you'd like, but it's just another blockchain. I don't know yet exactly what it does or what sets it apart from the rest, but it is part of the IBC and it's a Cosmos ecosystem based blockchain. So we'll have to see what it offers. So probably worth going, giving him a follow so you can see, especially if you're eligible for the airdrop, so you can see if it's worth holding on to for the bull market. The WEN token, which is Jupiter's proper meme coin, has become the highest socially active meme coin in the last 24 hours. This was today. So it's at the top of the memes at the moment. It's currently up 142% off the lows in the last couple of days. So it did have this big dip. There's people probably selling their airdrop, and it started to make a recovery, breaking all this structure here. It's a daily chart though, so this is very slow, but it's not bad, not a bad recovery, to be honest. Something I thought that was an interesting concept and that might actually happen, because again, the airdrop narrative for Solana is pretty strong, right? Bitcoin Swift here has posted this why bullish on WEN. 643rd reason, I guess, is the new WNS standard, which is their NFT standard. Imagine projects that adopt this standard potentially airdropping when holders their NFTs. So that would be pretty cool. And I think that's quite feasible. Something worth mentioning is if you're holding Bonk, you might as well stake it. I don't know how long you would like to stake it for. If you want to keep it relatively liquid, then probably for a shorter period of time. But they've got their bonkdragon.com, which is where you can go and stake your Bonk. If you come over to the link here, you can go to bonkrewards.com and you can pick how long you would like to lock up your Bonk for to get rewarded. So if you have some lying around that you want to hold for the bull market for whatever reason, then you know, why not pop it in here? You can go 1 month, 3 month, or 6 months, and that will adjust the multiplier based on that. So if you go 6 months, then that's a 2x multiplier on your Bonk. So that's something, you know, you might want to do. And it's part of building your Bonk Dragon, apparently, which is part of the Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. Any Chinese people out there, Xinyan Ha. So they're getting in on all of the Lunar New Year. And that's Year of the Dragon, which is my zodiac. So there you go. Are you staking your Pyth? So the reason why I asked this is because apparently drip drop could be coming to Pyth stakers. So this is from Wendy. They post a lot of airdrop stuff, especially for the Cosmos ecosystem. So who knows if Drip might be doing an airdrop for Pyth stakers, it's a possibility. So if you're not staking your Pyth, it's probably worth doing so if you're holding onto it. Also, the price has been going absolutely nuts recently. We're in all-time highs, that's for sure. So it's sitting at around 60 cents. And it's kind of like an up-only affair, really, isn't it? Pretty cool. A Solana ecosystem-based token that I've been slowly accumulating is the Neon token, the NeonEVM token. It's a bit of a down-only affair when you look at the chart, though. So it's been making a slight recovery in the last few days. We're up about 40% from the lows. But mainly what I really like about this is it's giving EVM developers the ability to deploy on Solana. So I quite like the concept of this. There's still a lot of EVM developers out there that don't really want to make the jump to chew glass, which is what they say about Rust. So it kind of makes sense to say that if they want to onboard into Solana, they might use something like this. And you can see, you know, its main use case will be for transaction fees. There'll be staking. There's obviously governance, which is pretty much what most of these tokens are. And we'll see what kind of incentives that they have. But for the most part, it's something that I'm watching. And I think it's worth mentioning because I personally know some EVM developers and they are not really that willing to work with Rust, but I think with something like this, it's a really good way to onboard more developers into the Solana ecosystem. So that's definitely something that I'm watching. Bit of an update on the Wormhole airdrop. So I think the symbol will be $W, which I think at the moment, if you look at Hyperliquid, we can see that pre-launch price is sitting at around 96 cents. So that's pretty high. And for the most part, to qualify for this airdrop, it will most likely be volume and NFTs. I have no NFTs, but I do have a decent amount of volume through bridges. So I guess that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And 11% of the supply goes to community token listing. So according to Solar, there's about a $500 million to $1 billion airdrop coming. So that's pretty crazy. And probably one of the next big airdrops to look forward to in the Solana ecosystem. Another bearish capo chart would be this Solana chart where he's calling for a pullback to $48 if it reaches 130. So Cozy's saying send it to $200 is confirmed. I guess it's counter trading capo. Has capo become the crypto crammer? Who knows? At this stage, maybe. Few key levels for Sol on this post. This is a fractal of what happened in the last bull market for Sol. So you can see these ghost bars here. They are just a copy of what happened prior. And I've also got some key levels here on the chart, which are some prices that we might see in the not too distant future. First one sitting at around 136 to 142, essentially. And, you know, so this is what we could look at for the next few months. Essentially, we could be just stuck in a range. And the bullish hidden divergence that I mentioned in this post was right here. So that's where price puts in a higher low, but on the RSI, it puts in a lower low, which is generally a sign of trend continuation. So just a little bit of fun speculation on this one. But if you want to see what this looks like on the actual chart, this is the actual chart. And this is the upside target for if it just did the exact same thing. So about $327. And these levels are pulled from the SR zones here over in the price action in the prior bull market. So there's some something to potentially look forward to. And this is where the fractal was pulled from. I basically just grabbed this as it looked here and then popped that price action there and put it here. And it's scaled to a linear scale, so that's why it looks so parabolic. I quite liked this post by Jay showing the Sol price model. So this is pretty cool. It shows that the Sol dominance, Solana dominance chart, what it would be roughly in percentile based on the crypto market cap. So this is the total crypto market cap. I think that a $5 trillion to $7 trillion market cap in the coming bull run is definitely possible. So if Solana could capture 5% of the total market cap, if it is worth 5 trillion at the time, for example, then that would put Solana at a price of $519, for example. Or if it was a $10 trillion market cap and it was 5% of the total crypto market cap, it would be 1,038. I think 5% is pretty reasonable considering the traction and adoption of Solana. But even if it was like 3%, which it's currently sitting at 2.71, so that's completely realistic. And total is currently sitting at 1.8 trillion. And the height of the bull market, it was sitting at about 3 trillion. So, I mean, a 2x from there seems feasible and really quite plausible and not too crazy. So maybe we get a little bit over a 2x potentially. So I'll put the market cap total at 7 trillion, we'll say roughly. And if Sol can capture 4%, it'd be 581, or 5%, 726. So really cool little chart there. A really cool table there. Back on the 10th, I posted these two charts for Ethereum dominance and for Solana dominance. And I asked the question, if you were to invest in either of these two, what would you do if you didn't even know what they were? I mean, I really like the look of this, but this kind of looks like it's run really hard, whereas this looks like it hasn't. So, you know, if this is the buy the dip mentality says that this is the way to go, and in terms of growth, then this kind of says that, hey, this is doing really well. So, and a live update on this, it looks pretty much the same as when I posted it before. It's just entered this is the Ethereum dominance, and it's just entered this little range here. If we zoom out, this is what it looks like. This big range that's been going since, well, the bull market, really. And if we look at the Solana dominance, it hit a new all-time high back at the end of last year. So there you go. That's the difference in Solana versus Ethereum dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Well, it's just doing its thing, also ranging. A simple high time frame swing trading strategy that I developed for Solana is the 12-hour Heikin-Ashi super trend. It's just a mechanical trading model, and it's kind of simple in that you set it up, and I'll show you in a sec how you can set this up. And you know, you buy as soon as you get a signal, essentially. So it says down here, but it's actually here. That's the way the Heikin-Ashi candles work, is they are open, high, low, close divided by 4 from the previous candle. But it smooths the trends out and stops things like this from turning into a buy signal. So that's the reason why it's kind of nicer, because it's got a delayed effect. So it only flips once there's kind of confirmation. And you also buy on the average true range line, which is that line there on the Heikin-Ashi super trend, essentially. That's the average true range line. So you can put limit orders down there and move them up as the line moves up as well. So the settings that I use for super trend are 1 and 2 on the 12-hour chart. I wish this was accurate. It's not, but it looks really nice, because again, it's using the entries from the Heikin-Ashi candles. The way I set this up, and you can save this as a template, is you add the super trend to your chart when you have Heikin-Ashi candle selected. So those are your Heikin-Ashi candles there. And what I do is I remove the body and the wick from the main price here. So these normal candles, the candles that are the Heikin-Ashi candles, are only the border. And I just make it the same color as what I've made for this particular chart, which in this case I've gone with red and blue. But yeah, it could be green and red, it doesn't really matter. But it just shows the border of the Heikin-Ashi candles, so you know where they are still, and you've got it in the price line as well, so you can see what the price is currently as per the Heikin-Ashi candles. And then what I do is I go over here to this plus button and I add the ticker over the top of it, right? So when you do that, it comes as a price, like a line like this, and you just double click on this, you change the style to candles, and then you just change this to the color scheme that you want. In my case, I like this, and then you just change this, click on this cog here and click regular, so that way it's just whatever the current price is. And that way you can see what the actual price is currently, and the indicator, the super trend indicator, is using the Heikin-Ashi candles, and that way you can actually see what price action's actually doing and not just what the Heikin-Ashi is doing. Heikin-Ashi is not that useful for seeing what the current price is, and that way you've got the price also on the side, and also that's kind of important, is click here, the price line, so that way you can see the price on the side there. So that's what this one is, and essentially what this would have been is long here. So the signal was there, and then you add the position at the average true range line, which is right there. That one missed, but that one hit. See, I put a little blue arrow here. And then if you wanted to add the position even further, you'd add it right there, essentially. And so yeah, I got this one open in drift at the moment. Current price, this is actually wrong. It's down here, whatever, that doesn't matter. And that's an average of here, essentially, based on the position size that I added. So that's what this is, and that's what that post is for. So again, the settings were 1 and 2, and you can just find the super trend pretty easily by typing in super, and it's just this one here, essentially. Apo and others are coming out with bearish price predictions for Bitcoin again. I mean, this one is 31K. I feel like if anything's going to happen, it'll be something like this, which is just me taking a fractal from here to put over here, and that would come into the bottom of the channel here, essentially. And I covered this on my crypto market update yesterday in great detail, so I'm going to be brief with this one. But if we did get a correction from here, and I'm not saying we will, then I feel like this is kind of probably what it would look like, if anything, because we have all the ETF inflows and all that sort of stuff. So getting massive dumps down to 30K, I just don't see that happening personally. I feel like we're going to probably track within this channel at the very least. So that's my response or reaction to Capo's TA. Another thing I thought I would throw out there is Pepe. I don't think anyone talks about it anymore, really. There's just so many other meme coins and stuff out there that have much stronger communities. But I've got a bot currently running, and I've been running it for a few months, and I threw USDT at it, which is kind of nothing in the grand scheme of things, really. And it's currently up 813%, which is really cool. I've got a link here so you can check to see what that's up to now. That was the other day, and it's currently 773. Yes, that's right, 773 profit. Wow. So this was $406 when I shared this, so it's gone up a lot since I shared this. But anyway, if you want to keep track of this, then you can either copy and follow along if you sign up to Pynex. If you click this, it will also give you a referral bonus, so it'll be cheaper. You'll get cheaper fees. It says here $107 AUM minus. I think that's because I took some profit out of this, so that's really weird how it's showing it like that, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. So that's what this is. This is just a bot that I wrote months ago that seems to be doing quite well, and that's just a $50 investment, and that's profit reinvest turned off, so that means that it's just $50 every time. Every transaction is $50 in size, whereas profit reinvest will take all of that profit and put it into the next trade. And I don't really like to do that with my bots because my bots are a bit more degen, so they kind of rely on stable position sizes for each one, because they can get trapped in consolidation at times, and you don't really want to lose all your profit with consolidation. But anyway, just thought I would add a bit more detail to this, and that this uses a parabolic SAR on the 4-hour chart. I mentioned a few days ago that Bitcoin open interest is reaching incredibly high levels. It actually went up a little bit after this. It's generally a sign of potential volatility, as there's a lot of money in perpetuals, and market movers tend to try and shake these people out. So was it time for a flush out? This was when Bitcoin was at 50,500, and we've already started. So there you go. So that's it for today's video. Hope you liked the content. If you liked it, please give the video a like. Comment down below. Let me know if you like this kind of video, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and hit the bell notification if you want to be alerted when videos come out by me. This one's a pretty big summary, but I think future videos like this will be a lot shorter, which will be probably a bit easier to digest, but it's kind of like a brain dump of all the things that I look at every day, as I spend almost 12 hours a day doing research for crypto. So I figure, why not go over a few of the things that I see and keep you all up to date. So anyway, keep safe out there. This is Kryptolytix signing out. Have a good one.